Battles galore! G'day to all you lovely people and welcome back to my channel. I'm Kathy and today we are here to talk about this. Battleground, book 17 in the Dresden Files by Jim Butcher. This is the only one I have in hardcover because it was really reasonably priced. I will admit I definitely prefer hardcovers to paperbacks, but they're not that cheap, the Dresden Files in hardcover, except for this one. This one was half the price of the paperback. Crazy. Anyway, this is the final published book in the series. The series is not over though. There are going to be more books. I don't know how many exactly. And there are also 2 short story collections. One is called Briefcases and one is Small Jobs, which it is recommended you read prior to getting to this one. Butcher definitely refers to things that have happened in the short stories throughout this series. I just decided I didn't want to read Briefcases. I wanted to wait until I really need my Harry Dresden fix and then I'll read that. But I think that the character River Shoulders is mentioned in Briefcases. We get to know how Harry met him. So it would benefit to read Briefcases before you read the final 2 books, I think. First off, I'd like to remind you all that I am going to be splitting this review into 3 parts, without spoilers, with spoilers, and a summary at the end. Timestamps will be in my description box below. And when I refer to spoilers, it is only in relation to this book. It is impossible to talk about this series now without referring to things that have happened in previous books. So if you have not read books 1 to 16, then skip this video until you do. Okay, where to start? I did not love this one. No, for several reasons, which I will get into at some point. Initially, Peace Talks, Book 16 and Battleground were meant to be one book, but the publisher decided it was too large, so they split it into 2. I really feel both books suffered as a result of that. This one continues immediately after what happens in Peace Talks. And yet all that happens, it seems, is battle after battle after battle after battle. It got boring. I got bored with it. Now, it could be that that is partly because I'm just not that much into battles, but I just think it was overkill in this one. Perhaps I should have started by what the book is about. If you've read Peace Talks, then you know that a goddess, Ethniu, has basically threatened to destroy Chicago and perhaps the world because she wanted to. Because she doesn't like humanity and all the magical groups in this world that Butch has created, like the Fae and the vampires and the White Council, have joined forces to defend Chicago against Ethniu and her Foma. I don't even know how to pronounce that. All the new characters we met in Peace Talks are in this one as well. We spend a lot of time with people like Queen Mab and Butters and Sonia, Murphy, and we see a few other characters that we are familiar with. In essence, this book is about the defense of Chicago, the battle of Chicago, even though there are a million and other battles that take place throughout before we get to the major battle at the end. It was something I really didn't like about this book. Too many battles, and it got boring. I'm sorry, but it did. You know, Harry has to fight off these creatures which are horrific and terrible, and then he succeeds because he always does, and then he goes on to the next battle and the next battle. Yeah, it just seemed too much for me. It just seemed like Butcher was determined to put everything he could into this book, which makes me wonder what the hell is he going to try to do with the real finale of this series. And there were quite a few things I did not like about this book. I think it's near the beginning of the book, Harry sidelines Murphy because she is injured, because she is not at 100% capacity, and he knows that she will slow him down. Murphy doesn't like it, not surprisingly, but it's realistic. It's also realistic that Murphy decides no, she is not going to be sidelined, she is going to be a part of this major battle. However, Queen Mab apparently could infuse her army with all this energy. Yeah, come on, what a load of bullshit. This was obviously a ploy by the author to be able to bring Murphy back into the action. And I just thought, no, I don't buy it. Other criticisms I have of the book. Marconi. Yeah, what happens to Marconi at the end, or what we learn about Marconi, I despise that with a passion. And also, an engagement. Yeah, I'm being so vague here, aren't I? Yeah, also this engagement. There is an engagement at the end between two parties, I'm not going to say who, and I hated that even more. There were so many missteps, in my opinion, in this book. Something else I didn't like. They're all worried about how they're going to defeat Ethniu, who is a goddess. And it seemed that the only plan they had was that Harry was going to bind her. Really? There's no backup plan? I didn't understand that. I thought, hang on, I would have had several plans in place to ensure that you could defeat this goddess. And Harry is a powerful wizard, yes, but he is not as powerful as some of the senior members on the council. But hey, they were all hanging their hopes on Harry. Now you could argue that the plans they had was to weaken her army, but I still don't think that that was sufficient. I still think that what if Harry had failed? They should have had some other backup plan in case that did happen. Something else I didn't like was a new magical creature that we meet, and I'm not saying anything else at this point. And Ramirez and the council. I have made my feelings very plain about this council. I despise it with a passion. Yeah, that's actually very accurate. And their behavior in this book just vindicated all my feelings about it. That's what I thought. Even saintly Michael, because he is, swore like a trooper when he found out a decision that the council has made. Something else I didn't like. Ethniu, this goddess. Yeah, she was such a bland villain. She was just not impressive at all. We have so many other great villains throughout this series. She was just boring. That's what I thought anyway. Yeah, I would have been more impressed if Nicodemus had decided to destroy Chicago. Yeah, that would have been much more effective, I think, because he is an interesting villain. But Ethniu, yeah, boring. Sorry, but yeah, boring. Now, there were a few things I didn't like, but not because they're criticisms of the book. They are just things that happened in this book that I did not like at all. Wow, yeah, there is a major thing I hated that happened in this book, but I have to talk about it in the spoiler part. I know I have a lot more criticisms of this book than I've had of any of the others, I think. But there were a few things I did like. Yes, I will confess. I didn't hate the entire book. I just was not very impressed with this one. Some of the things I liked. Starborn. We learn a little bit more about Starborn, but not enough. Still not enough. Yeah. And there is another creature who is a starborn, and I'm very curious to find out more exactly what that means. Butters. Yeah, I loved Butters. I love that he is a hero now. I love seeing how this character has developed over the course of these books. He is a hero, he is a knight, and he was so amazing in this book. Him and Sonia both, actually. There is one scene in particular between Harry, Sonia and Butters, about halfway through the book. People will probably know which one I'm talking about. I loved that scene. I thought it was the best thing about the whole book. Yeah, definitely. But I can't tell you much more because it's a spoiler if I say anything else. What else did I like? I like some of the magical creatures we met, like I think it's the huntsman. I thought they were really interesting, that every time you killed one, they would get together and form one larger one. That was cool. I loved River Shoulders. I think he is such a charming character. I thought he was adorable, actually, considering he is what the Yeti or the abominable snowman. Regardless, he is a wonderful character, and I really enjoyed his relationship with Harry. I loved that Murphy refused to be sidelined, that she was determined to be a part of it regardless of how much pain she was in. It is just quintessential Murphy, isn't it? She is determined to do as much as she can to save her city, to save people. I loved that. It was in line with her character. I really loved getting to understand Queen Mab better, which I really felt we did in this book. We got to see a bit more of the complexity of the character of Mab. That I really liked. And I think she's really brave. I loved how she faced Ethniu, even though she was outmatched. I also really liked that Mab was proud of Harry. I know that he has a tense sometimes relationship with Mab, but in some ways they have grown closer, and I think they have a mutual respect for each other. But I am still a little torn that she has some control over Harry. I loved that Harry called Toot Toot and his little band. Well, it wasn't so little, was it? It was a lot of these little fae. I know that Mab indicated that they probably do it for the pizza, not because they love Harry. I don't know if I completely agree with that. Perhaps some of them, but I think Toot Toot definitely has a great affection for Harry if he doesn't love him. Regardless, I really loved that. I love seeing him calling them up, and I guess I needed that reminder that this is something remarkable, which is what the council decided, didn't they? Because everyone was staring at him. That was a favourite part for me. We also do find out in this book why Thomas decided to attack the Spartals. I am still in two minds if I really like that revelation. I really don't think there's much more I can say without going into spoilers, so let's get into the spoilers now. So many things I disliked about this book. Speaking of Thomas, we find out that he tried to kill the Spartals leader because Nemesis has taken over Justine and threatened to kill Justine and the baby if he doesn't. Okay, it's not a bad idea. Yes, I don't love it. We've hardly seen Thomas and Justine for several books now that it just didn't have that big an impact on me. So that to me was just a very uninteresting aspect of this book. Something else I hated. Marconi is now a fallen angel. Come on. He is such a fascinating character already. And I don't think everyone needs to become supernatural to be interesting in this series. And that is what was one of the greatest strengths of Marconi's character, is that he could hold his own against supernatural beings. Having now a coin really diminishes just how powerful and interesting this character is. That's what I thought anyway. I hated that with a passion. Yeah, I was like, no, he doesn't need to be a fallen angel. It's all very well having these amazing, fantastical creatures in Butcher's universe, but something I really loved about the series was that there were humans who were also making a difference. People like Butters or Murphy or Marconi. Maybe not always a positive difference, but they had some impact in this world. And now it seems like, no, you have to be supernatural in order to carry any real weight in this world. I don't like that at all. I hope he gets rid of her. I don't think he will, but you never know, right? The magical creature I did not think was necessary was Dracula. Dracula. Seriously, we need Dracula too? Come on. Yeah. We have never seen him until now. And he's so powerful that even, was it Listens Like Wind and River's Shoulders couldn't defeat him? Yeah, come on. Seriously? Where the hell has this character been throughout this series? I wasn't impressed with this character. I am interested, however, that he is a starborn just like Harry. And they're going to be competing for something. What? Who the hell knows? I did, however, like that some of the wardens were killed. Not that I wish them dead, it's just that there should be casualties. Perhaps there were too many in this book, definitely. I'm going to get to the biggest surprise later, but I thought there should be some casualties. There should be some characters that we know who do get killed. The deaths of the wardens also explained Ramirez being so bitter, but he was bitter even before peace talks, I think. You know, he really annoyed me in this book. Not because the author didn't write him well, but just this contradiction, right? He cast a spell on Harry and then he had the gall to be pissed off that Harry did the same. Seriously? You follow Harry without asking, you cast a spell without his permission, and then you're annoyed that, he's done the same to you? It's just so typical hypocrisy from council members or the council. And Ramirez, I hate to say it, is becoming a reflection of this archaic old council who really should have gone years ago. The way he delivered that message to Harry. I think I forgot to mention in the previous video that the council had a decision to make as to whether to expel Harry from the White Council. And what a surprise that they decided, he's expelled. But hey, no. You're not a member of our council, but we get to tell you what to do. You are not allowed to do this or that, and we can check up on you. Wow. Who the hell do they think they are? The council has not yet awakened to the fact that they are obsolete, that they do not have as much power as they think they do. I do not see why anyone, let alone somebody like Harry Dresden, should accept their strictures. Why the hell should he? Michael and I had exactly the same reaction. Those fuckers, because they are, who are running scared, because they are scared of Harry. That, if nothing else, became clear. And I am just so fed up with all of them. I'm really glad, though, that the council made this decision. I hope that this will make Harry realise he doesn't need the council. This council is obsolete. and has been for a long time, and something else has to take its place. I'm still not 100% why they decided to do that at this point in time. Regardless, I actually did not mind that, but Ramirez pissed me off. Not because of anything Butcher did, just his behaviour. His behaviour towards Harry throughout these last 2 books. Okay, let's talk about Murphy. I'm so mad. Wow, I am so mad at Butcher for killing Murphy. I swear I almost threw the book across the room and I decided that's it. I'm not reading any more of these books. How dare he kill Murphy? Not Murphy. I love this character so much. Goddamn, kill anyone else but not Murphy. I am so disappointed. I was gutted. I thought, no, she cannot be dead. And by Rudy, of all people, who is the biggest piece of shit I've ever read about in this series anyway. He's actually even worse than Nicodemus because he is such a coward who cannot accept the evidence of his own eyes. I despise Rudy and have for all this series. But for him to kill Murphy, oh, come on. So yeah, I'm really angry at Butcher. I really don't know if I want to read any more of these books. I just don't know how I'll be able to get through them without having Murphy in them. However, having said that, which is an emotional response to what happened to Murphy, it was a powerful moment, no doubts about it. And let's be honest, Murphy is human. Was human. God, I hate even saying that. But she was. It is actually realistic that some of these human, more frail characters in this series will die. It should happen. Otherwise, it doesn't ring true to life. But not Murphy. Yeah, seriously, not Murphy. Anyone else? God. I mean, I'd be devastated if Michael or Molly or Butters or anyone else died. But hell no, not Murphy. Not Murphy. I know it was twofold. It was to show the frailty of humans, but it was also to devastate Harry. Because it did. Of course it did. Oh, wow. No matter how much I hated that Murphy died, part of me felt like it should have been more dragged out, but that also wouldn't have been realistic. Because sometimes this is how death happens. It's quick. But that scene where Harry starts hunting Rudy, I loved that scene. Not just him hunting Rudy, but also Sonia and Butters trying to stop him. That whole scene, or scenes, is one of my all-time favourite scenes in this entire series. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. It was so heart-wrenching and realistic and really hard to read, and I was sobbing. I was sobbing. I was sobbing at how much they love Harry, both Sonia and Butters in particular. And Butters, oh my God, yeah, he just made me bawl my eyes out. I could not help but feel such empathy for Harry. He's had one of the hardest roads that I've read about. He's had such bad luck with relationships in particular. He was finally happy, finally. And then this happens. Ah, yeah, so I'm not going to forgive Butcher just yet. I really don't want to forgive him. I don't know if I ever can. Because there's no one else who matches up to Murphy. I'm sorry, but no. Lara, I love her, but no. No one else is as magnificent a character as Murphy was. I loved her so much that I honestly don't know how I can continue this series knowing that she's dead. And I know that she's going to become, not a Valkyrie, I was hoping she'd be a Valkyrie, but no, it doesn't work that way. She's going to become one of these Viking, whatever it is. No, I don't want that. I prefer her to be dead. Or I prefer her to come back to life for whatever other reason. But I definitely don't want her to be dead. Yeah. Broke my heart. And then at the end, for Mab to decide to betroth Harry to Lara, I despise that more than I can say. That was one of the worst missteps I have ever read in this series. Sorry, no. And I know that Butcher was trying to spin it as, well, this is a marriage of state, right? That this is what happens. It is a political alliance rather than a love match. I don't give a shit. Murphy just died, for God's sake. Seriously. And what, now Mab gets to decide who marries who? I don't buy it and I hate it. I absolutely despise that. And not just because Murphy died. It just doesn't ring true. I mean, I know that Mab is eternal. Harry isn't. We're living in the 21st century and Harry isn't a character who complies anyway. And also, Lara's a goddamn vampire. Seriously. I hope that Butcher changes his mind on that. It was a major mistake, I feel. All right, let's summarize. I did not enjoy this book. I have a lot of criticisms of it, and it was one of the least enjoyable books that I have read in quite a long time. In this series, I mean. I don't think it is terrible, but it is definitely nowhere near the same class as, say, 12, 13, 14, 15 even. So, what score am I going to give this one? I've thought about it. I'm going to give it 5 to 5.5. One of the lowest scores I have given in quite a long time, I know. Let me know if you agree with me or if you think I'm being too harsh. I probably am, but that was my opinion of this book. And you know I would love to hear your opinions, and you can put it down in the comments or you can contact me on Instagram. And now, of course, comes the long wait until the next book. I hate this part when you're reading a series that hasn't finished. There's a lot to be said for reading series that are done with. At least you know that's it. I can read them all together. Thank you all very much for hanging out with me. I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this series of reviews on the Dresden Files, and I hope you also enjoyed today's video. And if you did, then you can do the usual. You can like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. I hope you all have a beautiful day, and I will see you next time. Bye.